That's better. Another session of Val's Monologues coming at you. I am your gracious host, Val Holdness, on this late Sunday evening. That was Monday. And coming at you with a review of last week. It was a good week. Number one, because, I got through it. Every day is not promised to us, y'all. And you need to understand that when you go to a funeral, as I had to do this past weekend. Went to funeral of a close friend of the family. I consider him to be my dad's right-hand man. And, just looking at that obituary program, the brother was married to his wife for 60 years. 3 children, a plethora of grandchildren, and great-grandchildren at this point. And that's going to be his legacy. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. He lived a fruitful life, and when I pass away, I hope to be in that same position with my grandchildren, great-grandchildren around me. Because as Richard Pryor said to Eddie Murphy in Harlem Nights, that's that type of dying. That's cool. That's a cool way to go. So just understand it, everybody. We have a lot to be thankful for. And not to dwell on that point, but I watched the New Edition movie Biopic this week. And it's a great movie. Great movie. Great movie because it brought back nostalgic memories about my upbringing, my childhood, which New Edition was a big part of. I can go on about that, but the movie itself is an instant classic, no doubt. Brought some key points, brought some figures I didn't even know existed. One, Brooke Payne was a very, very interesting character. It was cool. He didn't say too much. Now I think he did some research on him. He lives that lifestyle to this day. We just keeps in the background, cool, calm, collective, and making big moves on the ground. That's the way to be. That's the way to be in this life. But he served in the movie. He served as a father figure to the New Edition group. To combine with each one of these guys being a product of single motherhood. And I say that term motherhood loosely because all these women were in the projects, had these kids at a young age. One scene where Ralph and his brother surprised his mother by setting up the Christmas tree, giving her Christmas, and she broke down saying it should have been her, and she's right. And when she said it, I don't feel bad for her. Chick, you made that decision to be responsible, with your cooch. But that's another story. But it just brings up a big point of the whole, family dynamic that's being destroyed today by, programs like welfare and other things like that, other government programs. I just think it's ridiculous, man, because you see so many lost people out here, man, and people that just make the most questionable decisions, and you talk to these people, and most times than not, I don't want to say it's the only trait, but most times than not, they're going to say that they grew up in that type of environment, and just from doing research, it started with women thinking they can do everything on their own. You can't. And if that guy, Brooke Payne, wasn't in the picture, those guys wouldn't have made it big. I can almost guarantee they wouldn't have made it big because, they showed it in the movie. Those mothers were acting crazy. That time they confronted Brooke Payne in the hallway about them not making any money and accusing him of keeping all the money. Well, common sense would have told you they confronted him in the hallways of the projects where he stayed. so he wasn't making any money at the time, but you know what? He had a dream. He had a dream for those guys, and it came to fruition. And what's cool about him, when he did, get his walking papers, he exits stage gracefully. No, not tripping. As a matter of fact, when his sister wanted to take Ronnie out the group, as in protest to him being fired, he was like, "No, you keep him in a group." It's a big picture to this, and lo and behold, he ended up getting back in the picture down the road, and loving those boys. As a matter of fact, that's what he called them, his boys. He claimed them as his own because they were his own, and I think today he has like 5 or 6. I think he has more than that as far as kids. He has his own kids, he has his own family. But I mean, you see it in the movie. He's the one. He's a backbone that kept it all together through the turmoil when those boys are going through those growing pains, as we all do. He sort of served as that, as that guidance through quietness. He just was never too up, never too down. Worked the boys hard, mentored them, that type of thing. Showed them things that they couldn't see, and in essence, still to this day, I think they go to him for advice. Just looking, and I'm saying this because I was, the movie had me researching a few things about this man and looking at the pics and, doing some readings on him. Yeah, he's in that position now, which is cool. You see, they left out a few things at the movie. They didn't talk too much about. They showed Bobby Brown's craziness, but they didn't show him and Whitney. I guess the family, Whitney's family, wasn't having that. And a couple things I didn't know that Ricky Bell was on drugs too. That was surprising to me. But then again, it's not surprising because those guys were raised in Hollywood, as teenagers, and be in that environment with not too much parental, guidance. I mean, that will turn anybody out. So. We see the stories of those child stars going crazy, that type of thing, and these guys are no different. It's no coincidence, but great movie. I can't talk about that enough. But these guys, they did some big things, and it was special to me because I sort of felt some of their influence, when those guys moved to Atlanta, when that whole vibe moved to Atlanta environment, because all those guys, all those groups, all those entertainment people were coming to the aid. Not just New Edition. You had Keith Sweat, Jermaine Dupri. I think he had roots here already, but he really, he really planted his flag in the Atlanta environment. And those acts are pretty close to my heart. I see, I've seen the Outcast and Escapes of the World. Chris Cross went to middle school with those guys, and one of the guys from ABC went to high school with him. At the time, Chris Bridges, which is Ludacris, that type of thing. Graduated the same class, that type of thing. So it was around me. I saw it. I saw it. Either you, at that time, either you played sports or you participated in talent shows, that type of thing. If you didn't do either, then you were pretty much considered, a lame or whatever. I played, I had my share of, sports experiences, wrestling, throwing the discus, and playing football, that type of thing. And that high school was so rough for me. I really felt at home when I did those things, when I played sports. So, but yeah, those guys, I remember when BD were riding around in that Jeep or whatever. I was working at the Wendy's on Old National. My senior year, worked there for about 2 or 3 months. That's as much as I could take from that job. Anyway, they at one point, one night, they came through at the drive-through, and it was sort of funny because they pull up to the window, and Mike Bivens, saw the crowd. He was like, "No, y'all don't get too close. Don't get too close." And I'm like, "Man, whatever, And Ricky Bell and Ronnie was in the passenger side in the back looking all cool and not saying anything, that type of thing. But that's never been the type of cat to ask for an autograph, and that is a reason why. That's one of the reasons why, man. I mean, these guys, they believe love like me, and I mean, just looking at the movie, I saw how human they were. I mean, I knew it already, but you see how human, these guys are. Human just like everybody else. They just had to pay a price, and really the price they paid, I wouldn't want to have nothing to do with that, personally, because one of the reasons is they had no clue that they were involved in the business until a couple, 2 or 3 albums into it, that this was a business. It wasn't. This wasn't something to do for fun. People were getting rich off of your efforts, and you won't make anything. Now those guys are probably doing well right now. When I say well, I mean making a living right now. They're not, wealthy or anything like that. But of course, they've lasted this long, so they know how to hustle. They found a way of hustling in the music industry, and that's cool. But business needs to be talked about more. I don't think it's talked about enough. We need to start having those conversations because, I see other groups of people, especially Jewish people, man, and you gotta respect. You gotta respect that group of people, man, because despite whatever you may think, man, they're the smallest in terms of people in this country. They're the smallest group, yet they have the most money, and people never ask themselves why. And I think a lot of the reasons why is because the little things they do. Number one, they're together. Okay, you won't see too many Jews. I haven't met a Jew that married outside his culture. Number two, they really study finances. Those discussions that most groups tend to not have at dinner table, they have. And I just sold a car to to a Jewish family today, a doctor, a gastrologist, and his daughter. And my man comes up there, with the jacket, the cool jacket, the leather gloves, that type of thing. Straight shooter, straight to the point. Already agreed on price over the phone, that type of thing. And, mind you, he can get what you want. I did his application, his credit application. He can get what he wanted. And, in talking with him and his daughter mentioned that he buys cars pretty often. He came up there in a Mercedes CL 450, something like that, smooth ride. And after having just bought, he showed me pictures of this. After having just bought a 61 Chevy Corvette, totally restored. Showed me the pictures of it and everything. Real cool car. The man lives up in Johns Creek. And just doing research on him after he left, after I sold him the car today. He's definitely Jewish to the core. I mean, you see complaints. He's a big time doctor, but he gets complaints. People accuse him of being racist, and I think a couple reviews, women said he touched them inappropriately, unprofessionally is what they said. But the man, you ask him, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care because you know what? He has his group, he has that foundation, he has his family. Him and his daughter were real cool pair. You can tell they have a tight relationship. I mean, they got a relationship where she can talk to him, she can really tell him how she feels, but in the end, she's gonna do what he says because number one, she respects him, and their situation was I think the daughter lives in the Buckhead area, right? In a apartment, pretty expensive apartment.